Right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Contcast on Friday, the 9th of February, ahead of game week 27. I'm JK, and with us we have Bo,
Evening,
world
lads.
number 11.
And this is the fantasy fraud.
The defender killer. So we'll get right in to the agenda, shall we? And the first thing to consider is, given the turn in Chelsea's fixtures, a little bit of congestion building up potentially with the Champions League coming back, and they've now signed another left back. Is it me? And the fact that TFF's now bought him. Is it time to look at moving Alonso on? So, Bo, do you want to start on this one?
Yeah, like we were talking about in the group earlier, I think it's a good opportunity to maybe jump on somebody else while the fixtures are unfavourable for him. I mean, I think he's got a cup game, whether he plays in that now against Hull is one thing. Then there's the Barcelona game in the Champions League, the two fixtures, and then in between that you've got away to both Manchester clubs. So, I mean, the only game you'd maybe want him for is the home game against Crystal Palace. But looking at the schedule, you'd imagine he might even be rested then. It's hard to say, but I think somebody like Van Dijk or Robertson, if he looks like he's nailed, could be a good choice. Just short term anyway, and then especially because he has the game week 31 game. And then if when game week 31 passes, you can always ship him. I mean, a lot of us probably wildcard maybe about 33, so it's not too long to hold on to him.
All right. And TFF, just so we know who not to buy if we do sell.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's sellable after this week against West Brom because obviously we know there are problems with Chelsea, and if they're not keeping clean sheets, he's probably not going to represent value at that high premium price. But like personally, in my team, I don't think I have the luxury to get rid of him even next week because I own Dan, Kenny, and Otamendi, and I think I'll probably get rid of Otamendi first. Because with Otamendi, his goal threat is not as huge as Alonso. With Alonso, there's always a chance he can get a goal here or there from a free kick. But for me, I'm actually going to prioritize getting Otamendi out before Alonso.
I can see your point here because I'm looking, it's Arsenal and Chelsea next to, and then Stoke. And really, the only game you're looking at there is the Brighton home game, and that might not even go ahead. Because then they've got United and Spurs.
Yeah, I mean, Stoke at home will probably be a tough fixture as well, given the way they're playing under Lambert.
Yeah.
So I mean, the only clean sheet I can see in those fixtures is actually the one against Chelsea. I mean, they do have a chance of keeping clean sheet over there.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, there's certainly an argument there. I was going to raise that one as well with Otamendi because I know there's a few looking at him out, and I do feel like he has been very kind to us. He got those back-to-back 11 pointers. But since game week 22, he's got one clean sheet. He's got 3 2-pointers and that -1 against Liverpool. So there's definitely scope for selling both of them. But as you say, I'm stuck with Ogbonna and Kenny and Garner. So there's a bit of a lull there. But I may lose 3 guys next week for a -4. So on that note, Coleman, is he someone worth looking at, or are we still looking at a wait and see with him? Where do you stand on this one, TFF?
I think he's a good option for the next few actually. Zophar is around.
Hey Zoph.
Hey Zoph.
Hey Zoph, what's up? Can you hear us?
Zophar's computer's arrived anyway.
Anyways, so yeah, I mean, I think Coleman's a good option for the next few. But having said that, I mean, I personally think that if we wait for the FA Cup fixtures next week, there can be some results which throw up, some unexpected names into the hat. I mean, we need some clarity in the fixtures before we come to shortlisting defenders for 31. I think it's a tad too early to go for Coleman right now. I think maybe we can afford to wait a week before assessing our options. I think there could possibly be better options out there, such as I mean, if for example Burnley or Swansea, someone like that has a blank, I would rather go for someone in that bracket.
Right, Bo?
Yeah, it's like we were talking off air just earlier. Like Coleman 6.4, it's a lot of money to be spending. So you'd definitely like to see if he's how he's coming back to the team, if he's able to play 90 minutes each week. I mean, the only consolation is that they don't have any Europe or cup games.
What's up?
Hey, Zoe.
Hey man,
I think another thing as well is that this year he hasn't got like someone like a target man like Lukaku to be sending a lot of crosses in. We've kind of yet to see who the number one striker is at Everton, because only recently it seems like Nias is back in, even after buying Towson or whatever his name is. And there's the possibility that Calvert-Lewin might get the odd couple of minutes here and there at the end of each game up top. So it's kind of hard to know which way he's going to be playing, Coleman, as well, without that kind of target man up top this year.
And there's Walcott to factor into that one. So.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, someone like Walcott that can play quite wide, will it influence how forward Coleman's going to be getting, things like this? I think it's definitely, he's one to consider, definitely, because we know he can be a good option. He can get bonus points, he can get the odd assist here and there. I just think he's one to watch maybe over the next few weeks. But a good option.
Okay. Zelf, if you're still with us, you may as well jump in. So the first thing we discussed was whether with Chelsea's fixtures taking a turn, your congestion building up, and Emerson coming in, whether it was time to sell Alonso.
I think so, because I really don't know what's going to happen now after the next two games and the Barca legs. If we get completely demolished over the next 4 games, I don't see Conte staying till the end of the season. We don't know who's going to come in, and if somebody comes in, they might switch to a back 4. It's probably the right time to just hop off, see how it develops, because most likely we're going to have a blank in 31 as well.
Yeah. And while we were on that, TFF also said it's actually potentially worth more looking at Otamendi going out, because if you look at their next sort of 6 after Leicester, they've got Arsenal and Chelsea, then it's away at Stoke, then it's potentially a blank, followed by Everton away, United at home, and Spurs away. So it's a difficult sort of run of games coming up for City with the decent game.
I'm guessing we all got Otamendi like pretty early-ish, right? I think I got him at like 5.7 or something.
Yeah, I think I got something like that.
I think like it's a different kettle of fish from Alonso. Alonso, we got it like closer to 7, so it's like 1.5 mil almost more. And I think the thing is with City are still on form. If Chelsea was still keeping clean sheets, you could say that yes, hold on to Alonso. But I think Otamendi, I would rather hold over Alonso.
I mean, the thing is,
the counter argument I presented to these guys was that with Alonso, there's always a chance of a goal here or there, but with Otamendi, you're basically left with nothing if he concedes.
No, Otamendi has a lot of set-piece threat as well.
Yeah, not as much as Alonso overall. I mean, Alonso
he does play for like a team that's more in form right now.
Yeah, 1 clean sheet in 5 though for City.
Yeah, they concede 1 goal every game, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's got 4 goals, 11 clean sheets.
Yeah, I think 4 of those games as well when Stones was playing, so that could be a kind of a lingering effect from TFF on Stones earlier in the season.
Yeah. I owned Pickford last season, so probably that's why one of the reasons he's getting next to no points this season as well.
I wish I'd have done that before I bought him. I mean, Oliver Earl's not recovered yet from being TFF.
Oh man, it all started with Tongan last season.
So
I have Twitter messages. Maybe I should just look them up and post them in the group.
Right, we'll move slightly on. So we've got Bo's question. So with Otamendi, Alonso and Jones essentially the template defence, could we see any kind of new ones emerge? You've got the likes of Coleman, who we've already discussed. As Bo and I discussed off air, Van Dijk, potentially someone like Bellerin. Could we see a shift in the defenders, the core sort of premium defenders that people are looking at? So, Zof?
Could you just rephrase the question, please, in the shorter?
Basically, could we, in the next few weeks, with Alonso and Otamendi having tough fixtures and Jones maybe having been dropped, we're not sure, could we see a new template defence emerging because we've got some interesting new premium options opening up with Coleman, VVD, Bellerin, and the like?
Let's discuss all the options you mentioned. Bellerin again has a couple of hard fixtures coming and no possible game week 31. So even if he is template, like let's say the next we're on what game week 27 now, you get 29 and 30 and then a likely blank. So that's 2 games in blank. VVD might not even play with the Champions. They might play him in Champions League, play Clavan and or Gomez at centre back in the league. And Coleman, I don't think at 6.4 Everton are showing any form of defensive solidity. Like I paid 4.9 for Pickford, and I think that's too much.
Yeah, I have Pickford as well, but we've established that the TFF curse lingering.
Yeah,
So you have to
just stick with what we have, and I think it would be wiser probably to revisit this after the FA Cup fixtures have passed.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying as well.
Yeah.
Probably just wait and watch how that develops.
So the only other question we have, and Beau, have you got anything to add? It was your question. So
no, I think that's fair. I think we get a better idea of when the cup games come out. We'll know who blanks in 31, and I think a lot of the changes that I was kind of suggesting, like in the template defense, I think maybe might be a wild card issue because if you look ahead, I'd say most of us will probably wild card maybe game week 33 around that time. Arsenal will have if they blank in 31, they'll probably have a double game week down the line. Bellerin could be a good option then. Likewise, we'll see how Coleman is fitting in, whether Liverpool's defence is improving. I'm just thinking, as much as I'm talking about Van Dijk, have Liverpool kept a clean sheet with Van Dijk in the side yet?
No, they have not.
Yeah, with that, I mean, that's also a concern, but yeah, I definitely think it's it's more of a question to consider for a few weeks' time.
Right. I've got nothing really more to add. I think
before we move on, JK, I mean, I'd like to know your opinion by your guys. I mean, are you guys looking to wildcard in 32, 33? I mean, what's the rough consensus in the group?
I mean, need to see who has the good fixtures in 31, because we'll probably be loading up a teams from those fixtures. Then it depends how good their game week 32 fixture is. Because if let's say they have good 31 and 32, you could probably wildcard in 32 rather than 33.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be 32, 33, right?
Also, yeah, and the advantage also doing in 32 is you can possibly bank a transfer in 33 and make any changes if you need to for 2 in 34, 2 or 3 transfers.
Yeah, that's certainly an option. And it's something I discussed because another potential service, if you look, I had a look at this earlier in the season, and for example, you have City v United at the Etihad in 33. And if both the Manchester clubs have a double in 34, how many players do you really want in the derby the week before that with the wild card? So one potential advantage of the 32 is you could punt on someone who has a decent fixture in 33, and then because for example you also have Everton v Liverpool that week, so you can buy someone with a good fixture in 33 and then use your transfer in 34 to get them out again, particularly if you're going with the 35 free hit, which is going to negate having 2 threes anyway. So
yeah,
the issue
that makes a lot of sense.
The issue with those sets in 32 is how many duffers essentially you have left over from 31. But right now, I'm inclined to go for 33 purely because I think it's the time to wildcard. You wildcard when you have the most information available.
Yeah.
And that's likely to be 33 heading into the double.
I think as well, I think a lot of people are going to get caught off guard in 31. I think a lot of people are going to open up their teams, coming up to the deadline for 31, see like 6 and 7 players in their team that aren't playing, and they're going, shit, I'm going to wild card because like I hardly have a squad this week.
All 3 hitters haven't used it.
Yeah, or that. Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to over worry about game week 31. Because, I mean, I think as long as you have maybe triple Liverpool, like Salah, Firmino, and then one of Mane, if he's still in form, or a defender, I think you'll be covered. I think most of the points will come from the Liverpool game because, I mean, Everton and Stoke, that's a hard one to call. What else do we have? We've...
also quite likely because United will
probably... Palace is likely because it's either Huddersfield Palace or West Ham against Man United. One of those 2 games.
Huddersfield Palace is a good fixture, I think. I mean, but like for now, we don't like rate those teams too much because Palace don't have the fixtures and Huddersfield are basically in awful form. So I mean, it's not likely that we'll be investing in either of those 2 teams.
Yeah, I think if you've got someone like Quaner in your team, I think just keep him there and hope that he plays.
I mean, I'm doing the same with Calvert-Lewin actually.
Yeah. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you're going to be taking out a lot of players where you have, like we talked about, a lot of players where you have value tied up in. And like for people like us that are hoping to wildcard maybe 33, all that value is just going to be gone. Players might rise from then. On the flip side, they might drop, so you might be able to get them in a little bit more easily. But personally, I'm just aiming for about 8 or 9 players for that week. I'm not worried about getting 11 in at all. I think that's going to throw a lot of people off guard.
Yeah, that sounds cool. I mean, this might be a bit premature to ask, but like a bench boost in 34 or 37, what are you guys looking at?
For me, 34. Because I think by 37...
A lot of teams on the beach, right? Or by 37?
Yeah, by 37, a lot could be decided. The league City probably will have won the league. I think there's a good chance we'll know at least 1 or 2 teams that have gone down. So I don't think come 37 there's not likely to be that much to play for in comparison to 34.
All right.
And also, like, if Liverpool don't, they have a blank game week 35, Salah will be like having a double game week in 37, so you'll probably want to triple captain him then.
Yeah, if you still have the triple captain.
If you have it, yeah. If you didn't blow it on Kane.
Yeah. If Kane didn't grab you by the balls and squeeze them.
I don't want to talk about it. And that's not even the worst part. The worst part about that double game week is that I'm stuck with fucking 2 West Ham defenders that I don't even want.
Yes.
I don't want them.
See, I got rid of Adrian. I'm still stuck with flipping Bonner, who's literally got about... I don't think he's got more than 2 points since I've owned him.
Yeah. And every week it's the same situation. You look and you say, oh, Bonner's got a great fixture. I think I'll play him. And they concede that 1 goal or it's so annoying. They
haven't kept a clean sheet now for 7 game weeks.
Yeah.
Ever since I bought them, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. We didn't want to say it.
The time TFF started buying West Ham defenders.
They play Watford, right, this weekend?
Watford at home.
Yeah, home.
You guys think Richarlison? No, I think because Delafeu's pretty much got the right side nailed on. I think they could play Pereira on the left.
There have been a few Watford fans talking about wanting that with Richarlison behind the striker.
Yeah, and the fact that he's getting taken off early makes me think that he's not as secure he was under Silva.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think he's as happy that he joined Watford because of Silva.
He was crying after being substituted like the last Chelsea game. Did you guys catch that?
Yeah. He was really kind of upset about it, yeah. I think Richarlison... Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just saying if he benches him outright, you can imagine the tears then.
Yeah. I think with Richarlison as well, it's a confidence thing, kind of like Morata. I think they just need to score a goal or 2 in 1 match and then the confidence comes back.
Do you see what Conte said? It could be 1 day, 1 month, 1 week, or the rest of the season. I don't know.
Yeah, that's very shady. I mean, what does that even mean? I mean, it's very tough to gauge.
I mean, so back injuries are usually pretty simple to diagnose on an MRI, like the recovery time or
Depends.
what.
Like, remember, Rio Ferdinand suffered for 3 or 4 years with a back problem they couldn't diagnose, and they
What it
fixed
is,
it in the end.
I
Yeah.
read somewhere that he had a very close friend in Spain who expired, and he's just completely shattered.
Hasn't Klein been out with a back injury as well?
Yeah, I was just about to say Klein as well. Although wasn't there something talk of drug problems as well or something?
Yeah, but
But I
Klein
think
may be back
originally
in
it
the
was a
fold.
back foot.
He has been registered in Liverpool's Champions League squad, so he potentially could be fit and ready to return around the corner. But he wasn't mentioned this week, so he potentially could end up missing the entire season. Did you own him at any point last season?
I owned him like 2 or 3 years ago. So maybe it's the net effect taking place later.
So the only other one. Sorry, go on, Bill.
Sorry, captains.
Well, THM would like an in-depth discussion on this. So, Zof, why don't you tell us who you're captaining and why?
For me, it's Aguero. Just because I think it's the best fixture on paper. The thing with the Southampton is I think they're a bit on the up now, and the last time when these two sides played, I don't think Lemina played. Every time I watch Southampton with Lemina playing, I think they've been a bit more solid.
Yeah, Lemina is an unbelievable player. Ridiculous.
Yeah, I really don't feel as comfortable captaining Salah, and it feels a little bit like chasing points.
Good.
And Kane,
Kane. Well, the North London derby's unpredictable, isn't it?
Derby's unpredictable, precisely. You never know what Arsenal side is going to turn up.
Or what Spurs side is going to turn up.
What Spurs side is going to turn up.
Exactly. I'm torn between Kane and Salah. I'll probably go with Kane. Despite the fact that I own Son as well. I mean, I know that's very risky, but I really fancy Spurs to score quite a few against Arsenal. I mean, Arsenal's defense is a joke, so hopefully Spurs can put them to the sword.
The one who said like 0 to 100 goals, the whole like Players Tribune article that Kane came out with?
No, I didn't.
It's really good. He talks about like how he wants to score against Arsenal every time. Today he still Arsenal.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's worth a read. I'll send you the link later.
Yeah, sure.
Bo, we know you're on Aguero, so do you want to anything further?
Also, another point I'd like to make is I think Salah might get taken off early because of the Champions League factor if Liverpool are ahead, but I don't think Kane will get taken off early if Spurs are ahead because they'll probably want him to score as many as possible, basically.
Yeah. Bo, we know you're going for Aguero, so have you got anything more to add to what Zofar said?
Not much. No, I was just thinking as well, like the Champions League, Liverpool, I think definitely have the tougher fixture going away to Porto, wasn't it?
Yeah, Porto.
No disrespect to Basel, but City should be able to get a result if they play someone like, what was it, Sterling or Sané? Or is Sané still out?
Sané's still out at the minute. He is due back any time though. He has said he hopes to have him back for the Basel game.
Like, I mean, he could get away with playing Sané up top and get a result. I mean, by the time the second leg comes around, he should have Jesus available to him. And they'd be at home as well. Obviously, he will have, the issue of managing Aguero's minutes on his mind. We know, like, Aguero is an injury-prone player. He's been quite fortunate this season. But obviously, it will be in the back of his mind as probably the only fit striker at the minute. But yeah, I mean, Aguero at home to Leicester, they're missing Morgan. He's quite a decent player. We don't know what the story is with the left back situation, whether Chilwell has it or if it was just a once-off, Fuchs getting into the team. Either way, I don't really rate Danny Simpson. I mean, I think he's going to have an awful time in that game. So I think there'll be a lot of opportunities for City to score. Yeah, just straightforward. As well as that, I mean, it's between Aguero and Salah, and generally when there's two options, I go for the player that goes at home. Last week I didn't do it, and I got punished by it. It was between Aguero and Salah last week. Salah was at home, and I went with Aguero. I went for the fixture. I was thinking Burnley aren't the same as they used to be.
Your problem is you went the same way as Jazz.
Yes, I think that's also an issue. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, when in doubt, go for the home team. I mean, City are at home. They've rarely had problems scoring at home. So yeah, just straightforward. Try not to overthink it.
Fair enough. And for me, I'm on the same as last week. So I am on Sanchez again. Because why the heck not? What's the point in buying a £12.5 million player if I'm not going to captain him?
Exactly.
Could have been a lot better last week, obviously, if he scores the penalty instead of the rebound. But Newcastle, I feel, in similar to what so far said, Southampton, or especially since that Spurs game, have really sort of tightened themselves up a bit. So whereas Newcastle look a bit iffy defensively, so I'm hoping there's maybe some.
Is he definitely on penalty?
No, I don't. He's not on penalties anymore.
Yeah.
It was, I believe, Pogba is our penalty taker, according to what Mourinho said after the last game, is that Pogba allowed Sanchez to take that penalty. So that's
is no one considering Sterling?
Sorry, no.
Not after that last weekend, no.
Yeah, has the old Sterling reared his head with that miss?
I mean, he might be determined and extra motivated to do better. I was considering him, but I'm not too sure about him, so I might as well give it a miss.
The last game, I don't know how many of you guys watched it. They were just not passing to Aguero. De Bruyne just kept
I don't know. Especially De Bruyne. Yeah. Every time he gets in a dangerous position, he does not pass to Aguero.
He always prefers to go wide, with the wide pass.
Yeah.
Yeah. He seems to like those little balls down the side rather than, through the middle.
The problem is they play Sterling down the left the other game, and he's pretty useless with his left foot. He couldn't really get across.
I never liked him. Okay. I thought he was much better on the right.
Yeah. So before we move on, we've got a few of the comps want the team analysed. So TFS, we'll start with yours. We'll do our own, and then we'll get into the guys who want theirs done. So what's your plans for this week?
I did Lingard to Walcott with my.
Oh, wait, you're all right with that? We're okay with that. It's only defenders we have to worry about.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you guys a heads up if I make a defenders move next week, which I probably will, in fact.
So, Bo, you said you're planning to roll your transfer over.
Yeah, I'm going to save it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do because, I'll have 2 free transfers next week. My only goalkeeper is Adrian next week, who's going to be away to Liverpool. So if we find out that Bournemouth have a game, like I was saying to you off air, I may just get in Begovic. He'll have the game in 31. That will be at home against Newcastle. It'll give me a keeper for next week.
West Brom in 31 they have.
Oh, sorry, West Brom. They have Newcastle next week, sorry.
Yeah.
So it's wait and see. I'll use the second transfer if Bournemouth have the game in 31. But I'll most likely do Alonso to Van Dijk and save the cash.
Okay. Joe?
I did Son to Walcott.
Decent move. I did that move last week.
Yeah, because I think Son is now pretty much a rotation risk going forward. You have Lamela who's fit, Moura who's fit, Alderweireld who's fit. They can play a back 3, and they have a lot of games. Yeah. So it's just not really worth the risk with all the other options in midfield.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the Champions League scenario again, isn't it? Yeah. With the Champions League back, we can't afford to carry rotation risks anymore.
Precisely. So, and I think Walcott, I like what I saw against Arsenal. I was very lucky to win my bet against Prof.
Although thank you for that one.
So I wanted Walcott. Plus, I think next week, Bo, we need to get rid of Aguero. Because Pep said he's back. Jesus is back another 10, 14 days.
Yeah,
so
he's definitely concerned.
Aguero to Firmino looks like a move next week with them playing West Ham.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be a good time to move, yeah.
Probably then. But VVD is something else I've been thinking of because I also need to make a defensive move next week. I have Ogbonna and Kabasele.
Yeah, I have Ogbonna and Kenny, so I'm in a similar sort of boat.
Yeah, so let's see. We might have an upset in the FA Cup. Who knows? And we have like an expensive defender we can probably jump on. Because VVD
Yeah.
still doesn't appeal that much to me. I'd
Mm.
slightly be tempted by Moreno because Moreno could end up being like how Sturridge was during when they won the Europa League. He could be the guy he keeps for the home games, the league, or maybe even Trent Alexander-Arnold, like something like that could possibly work out. Maybe try being a little clever there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm saving my transfer this week, same as Bo. Roll the 2 threes, and obviously coming into next game week, we'll have the information available about who's got games in 31, and having the two available to me could be quite valuable in that regard, because I'm sitting on a Bonner, Carner, Kenny, and potentially Alonso, who are all
And we'll be gone into the international break, won't we?
And Wilson potentially if Bournemouth don't, if West Brom somehow manage to, if West Brom basically beat Southampton, then I'm stuck with Wilson, who's also blanking. So that's where I'm at. Right. Who wants to be the screen share guy? Because we have about 4 wanting their teams looking at.
Yeah, before that, Jake, I'd like to ask what are your guys' prediction about the derby tomorrow, the Northern Derby? What kind of a game do you expect it to be?
I think it'll be a high scoring game. Generally, they're quite high scoring as far as I remember. I think there was one game maybe in the last year or so it didn't really live up to expectation. Now I could be wrong on that, but
yeah, I mean the ones at White Hart Lane have been high scoring of late, I think.
Yeah, but like you said, Arsenal's defense, it's nothing special. I know Spurs haven't been great at home this year. They've been good, but not particularly great. But I think there'll be goals in it. Whether it's 4-3 or 2-1, it's hard to say.
A big thing for me with Spurs is Wanyama's back.
Yeah.
And he is such a difference maker in that team as far as their defence goes.
Yeah. I think it's definitely in Spurs' favour with Alderweireld returning as well. I think they'll be maybe a bit harder to break down. But I think
I'm really looking forward. I think that's when you actually get to see if Mkhitaryan and Aubameyang what they're really made of. If they're actually worth buying. They're not playing Everton this time.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to watching that game.
Although I say that Wanyama hasn't actually started a league game yet since he's come back. The most he's had is 31 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think Alderweireld will start either tomorrow.
Wanyama for Juventus because they'll probably go there and try to match their shape. Juventus play the back three, right?
Yeah.
Wanyama is very, very good in that back three as a central, holding midfielder.
I just hope Sissoko doesn't start.
I think it might be Dembele and Dyer if he doesn't. If he plays a back four, he'll probably be Dembele and Dyer.
I honestly think it will be the same team against it was against Liverpool.
Yeah, but I do think it'll be open because Wenger, Wenger is not exactly known for his defensive style of play, nor his Potts really. So I think it's going to be a pretty open game.
Yep.
And I'm also on Aubameyang watch.
Arsenal are pretty good at Wembley. They think the pitch suits them, the playing style. They have a good record.
Yeah, the only thing which worries me is that it's going to be a horrible weekend if Son and Kane blank. So it's going to be horrible Sunday for them.
It's the old early captain kickoff syndrome.
Yeah,
when it pays off, it makes your weekend. If you fail, you're just hiding behind the sofa the rest of the game week.
Last weekend with Aguero and Burnley was just awful. With Sterling missing, Otamendi conceding, it was just an awful start to the week.
Yeah. That was my only saving grace. Was I'd actually it was obviously last week I got rid of Aguero, but it was painful.
I mean, having said that, I have had a very good experience with Kane in the early kickoffs. He generally does very well.
Yeah, he actually does have a decent record in the early games. To be fair.
Yeah.
He
scored twice against Huddersfield.
West Ham as well.
West Ham,
yeah, twice against West Ham. He got a hat trick against Southampton. Southampton. West Brom last year hat trick. So his record is pretty good in the early games.
Yeah. Right. Are we ready? Right, Bo or So if you look on the actual Contcast group, Pirlo's pen has stuck his team in there. Although he hasn't actually left us how much he's got in the bank or how many free transfers he's got. So if one of you has a look at, brings his team up, I will have a look at his cash and transfer situation.
I'll do it.
What's his name in the league? Do you know?
Wheeler Diellas. He's
No.
so he's got nothing in the bank, and he's made one transfer already, which is probably Masuaku out or Kent.
So he's probably wondering if there's anything worth taking a hit for, is it?
Yeah. Or he just wants us to have a look.
Yeah. Maybe discuss captaincy, things like that, and bench.
So yeah, he's done Masuaku to Bauer.
Okay.
Can you guys see that? Put it up.
Yeah, so I've seen that, yeah. So I'm looking at it now. So yeah. So we've got so he's done Masuaku to Bauer and he's got Sanchez as captain.
That looks fine.
Yeah, I think that's okay to me.
Yeah. The only thing is, if Alonso doesn't play, he's in a tricky spot.
There's this Maguire who can still nick a goal
Apparently,
off his.
Alonso trained. I mean, someone posted a link on the group which said that Alonso had trained.
Yeah,
Yeah, he has-
he's trained. Yeah, he's trained this morning.
From a
That's good.
reliable account also.
Yeah, he should be fine. I don't have a bench either. If Alonso or Otamendi don't show up, I don't have a defender on the bench. So I'll be down to 10 as well. So I'm wondering if it's worth the hit myself.
I mean, what do
Well, if you're
defenders
bringing
get?
in a defender, TFF, you have to give us the warning.
Yeah.
Sorry?
If you're bringing in a defender, you need to tell us who so we can make sure we avoid them.
You guys need to tell me whether I need to take the hit first before I decide to get a defender.
Okay, so we'll do. Okay, so we think Pirlo's pencil was out. So do you want us? Let's have a look at your team then, and we'll bring it up.
Just on Pirlo's 10's team, do we think Pope over Adrian?
No, I actually go for Adrian
Yeah.
over Pope, I think.
No. This is, we're talking West Ham here. Pope.
That was the only
Swansea
thing
are
I could think
really
of.
Swansea
Essentially,
are
if he
really
plays
good form.
Adrian, West Ham will concede. If he plays Pope, West Ham will keep a clean sheet because
Yeah,
that
I mean,
is
I'm
West
wondering
Ham.
what the odds are saying. I think the odds might favor West Ham.
The odds would probably favour West Ham in all honesty, but
Yeah.
which defence would you trust more, Burnley's or West Ham's?
Yeah, that's true.
No contest.
They'll probably both end
Yeah.
up with 2 points in the end. It probably
Well,
won't be much.
I own Adrian, so by that logic, he should go with Pope.
Yeah. So
I
do you
don't
want to
think
bring
it's
your
worth
team up?
a hit for any defender TFF because, like, look at the points they got last week. You're just getting bring a defender's getting 1 point. It's no big deal
Yeah.
if he gets 0 instead.
Yeah. Like my entire back seven, including the keepers, got 3 points between them last week.
Yeah, it was only United that kept the clean sheet. I think.
Yeah, and
defensive
I had the
points are
one
hard
guy,
to
and I had the guy who didn't turn up.
Yeah, same. Yeah, it's so annoying.
Yeah. But yeah, basically the guys laughing were the De Gea and Valencia owners.
Yeah, it would be great if Alonso hauls this week after after ditching him, just for one last game.
Exactly. Although I fear the curse of West Brom may strike Conte down.
And the course of TFF.
Yeah, that too.
Getting Evans.
Yeah, -6 just before we sell Alonso.
That would be an interesting one. The trolling of Evans versus the curse of TFF. What happens?
I'd say that's what happens when the servers go down.
They'll break FPL.
Yeah.
Right. So we think that's decent enough. Okay, TFF, do you want to post your team up and we can, unless you have the ability to screen share yourself.
Yeah, I'll say it myself. I own Alonso, Otamendi, Francis, and basically I don't have any defenders on the bench because I own Kenny and Dan, and they're not going to show up.
That sounds
There's
like
no way-
that sounds like about 4/5 of Bo's defense, if I'm honest.
Yeah, the 3 defenders he owns, he's playing. So I think I'll just wildcard this.
So is it worth taking a hit to sell any one of the defenders I have?
minus 12. Minus 12. Take them all out.
Change all of them.
No, I think those 3 defenders are pretty good for this week.
Yeah, that's the way I'm leaning myself. I
Yeah.
mean, hopefully they should turn up.
Disappointing tabs there though. I'm still waiting for them. I'm still disappointed with those tabs. And still no psychotic nymphos anywhere in sight.
It's all very nice.
Right. In the meantime, first of all we have Jax. These are he's posted these in the main content group rather than on the cast. So it really does help when guys post how much they have in the bank and how many free transfers, etc. But if one of you can bring up the cast group,
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna bring up Burbinho's foreheads team. He asked us.
we've got Burb, yeah. Okay, so we'll do Burb first.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I think that's a fairly solid outfit.
He has 2 free transfers.
In that case,
I'd go for a Bono over Dunk.
potentially, I think if he's got 2 frees, I'd be inclined to try and get rid of Loftus-Cheek.
But nothing in the bank.
Right, so let's have a look.
Probably
Exactly
looking for somebody to raise cash.
or Calvert-Lewin, yeah. How much is Calvert-Lewin selling for these days, though?
Maybe
Did he
Dunk
have
or Bauer.
Do we think Tom Carroll will start playing now with Swansea?
I think there's a lot
yeah,
of competition there.
I
I think he's only 4.3 and he has, Burnley at home this week?
Yeah, let me just have a look at his recent minutes.
Few
Because I know he
seconds.
played in the cup game,
That's right, yeah.
feeling. So, I mean, he hasn't started the last 3 in the league.
Yeah, it's one of those games where he could make his kind of first start of a series of starts. Hard to know.
Yeah. I mean, if I was losing DCL, there's not a lot of choice really in that sort of bracket.
I'd actually hold him because there's an off chance he can actually play in 31.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, I mean he can actually get rid of a Dunk for Bauer.
I've got another.
He's injured long term. I don't think he's going to be back for another 2-3 months. So don't expect him to.
There is an interesting option that's just opened up, and it'd be interesting to see whether he actually plays. But there is Andy King at 4.2, who's gone on loan to Swansea. Couldn't play last week because it was Leicester.
Oh,
Yeah.
But he could be an interesting option. And it'll be free up a bit, about 0.3 for him, so that's a possibility there.
Do we think there's a chance that Calvert-Lewin might start against Palace? As I mean, he did get the only goal against Arsenal, and I don't know if Sam is entirely sure who his number 1 striker is at the minute. I mean, we all thought
he isn't sure.
Yeah. I mean, he bought in Tosin, and I mean, he's already kind of dropped him while Nias was playing okay. So, like, he might give DLC a run out. It's hard to know.
Yeah.
That's a
I mean,
good point. I think, yeah, so Loftus-Cheek to probably Tom Carroll or somebody like that.
yeah. I mean, I'd be inclined. It's a pity he has no money to go for someone like, say, Kennedy.
Yeah.
Could get Matt Ritchie in.
He's not that cheap. But I would maybe lean towards Andy King. But again, I think there's a lot of competition in and around the Swansea midfield. Did he play last week? Oh, let's have a look. He's got James MacArthur potentially. Not that Palace have great fixtures, but for a cheap guy with a
Could he
potential
get
game in 31,
Can he afford a Milivojevic or whatever his name is?
no, he's got 0 in the bank.
Ah, okay. Yeah, it's a bit of a tough one.
Which is why I'd potentially be inclined to go with the Swansea guy. Carroll's an option. I would potentially risk King.
Or he could just bank the transfer, see who's.
He's already got
See
2.
who,
He's got
shit,
2.
yeah.
Yeah, I was suggesting Dunk to Bauer.
That's not a bad shout.
It's not a bad shout. Just looking at it there.
I think how much is if he got Dunk at 4.4, he can't really do that.
Yeah, if you pay 4.4 for Dunk, that one's out because you only have 4.4 to replace him with.
Uh,
I think a move that frees up cash could be a good choice because, I mean, Speroni's more or less dead there.
Yeah, but where? I mean,
maybe, I mean, Calvert-Lewin down to maybe someone like Quana or something. And then again, it's hard to know if Quana's going to be starting.
yeah,
but like Calvert-Lewin could get thrown in and then he
Yeah.
plays 30.
That's true.
I think Loftus-Cheek to somebody like cheaper to free up cash. I guess.
yeah. King would be, or Carroll would probably be my choices.
Yeah. MacArthur's been starting, hasn't he?
Yeah, or MacArthur. MacArthur's played out last 5, I think.
He's probably the safest option because he's going to at least play with, Palace's injury statuses and things like that.
yeah.
He's guaranteed to
Yeah, I
play.
think you should do that.
So I think that's most the important thing. Pick a player that plays.
Yeah, and he has started like the last 5, something like that.
Yeah. The only problem is
the last
that
5.
you're not going to really be expecting him to, get maybe 8 or 9 points. He might get a lucky assist, but
Yeah,
a goal is kind of rare. It's almost having like Lucas in your team or something.
Right, guys, I'm gonna sign off. I'm falling asleep over here.
all right, Dol.
Good night.
See you later.
Take it easy, man. Good luck.
All right, man. See you.
See you later, Dol. Okay, Bo, we have the next one, which is either Jazzy or Jack, depending on which one you find first.
I've got Jax's here.
Yeah.
Sure. Where are we? Okay. Okay, can you guys see that?
Yeah.
So there we go. One free transfer, 0.8 million in the bank.
His defence is looking a bit iffy, has to be said.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I would suggest saving.
yeah, I still think I would probably save, but there is the potential to only have 10 there because Mazawaka we know isn't going to turn up. Although you'd expect Dunk to turn up, but if one of Otamendi or Alonso doesn't,
Yeah.
he's only got, and there's a very good chance Kenny isn't going to turn up. So he basically has no playing defenders and the Ox.
Yeah, and as well as that, he'll be playing Dunk against Shaqiri, so he's kind of, the likelihood of both of them returning is going to be slim.
Yeah. He's also stuck with the Ox, which is even bigger concern for me.
Yeah. Although I think he has enough to get 3-4-3 out and forget about Ox this week.
Yeah. I'd probably play and just see what happens with Shaqiri v Dunk because I think wherever possible, having 2 frees going into the next game week is invaluable with the information we'll have for it in terms of blanks.
Yeah, definitely.
So the only other one we have should be just below Jack's, which is Jazzy.
Oh, Sorry, I forgot I was screen sharing there. I was just going through tabs. Sorry.
Again, disappointing in the tabs.
Right, Jazz. Here we go.
So 1 free transfer, 0.7.
Yep.
Easy save.
Yeah. Yeah, Norton looks like a good pick. He had a very good game there against in the cup. Now I know that the opposition wasn't great, but he generally gets forward a lot, Norton. And I mean, it's a decent fixture if you can't play him against Burnley.
And he's decent for the bonus as well, Norton.
Yeah, he should save, I think, as well.
So,
I mean, I'm not sure about Lingard, but I mean,
I think I'd give him this week, and then with 1 free, I think I'd give him this week, and then maybe look to move him out.
Yeah, I think it's the same situation as Jack's. It'll be annoying if Calvert-Lewin starts and actually, does well. But I mean, for sub, I mean, what can you do? I mean, you're probably not going to bench Lingard. Yeah, I think it's a good team.
Yeah, I think I'd just save.
Yeah.
I just think this week, wherever possible, unless you've got 2 frees or you're absolutely really up the creek, I think saving is the best thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, especially we'll have Champions League, and do we have an FA Cup game before we come back?
Yeah, so we have FA Cup next weekend.
Yeah, we have FA Cup next week.
So there we go. I mean, there's a big potential there for injuries if you go too early in the transfers.
But it's like I say, that's why I think the saving is valuable, because at the end of next weekend, by next weekend, we'll know who's playing in 31 and who isn't.
Exactly. And like we've seen it already as well. Arnautovic, he didn't even have a cup game and he ended up getting injured. And a lot of us, a good few had made early transfers, and they were taking a hit to get rid of him, or he was 7 million, so it was 7 million player on your bench if you couldn't get him out that week. It's just less hassle it is holding on to them.
Yeah.
When you don't need to, that's a team that doesn't need a change.
No.
Yeah, it's
definitely doesn't need a captaincy change if you're captaining Aguero. With the way his captaincies go, you definitely want the opposite guy. You definitely want his vice captain as your captain.
It's just getting to that stage in the season now where it's reminding me of last year, where it was a horrible season last year. It was basically the captaincy was Aguero or Kane, and most weeks you just got it totally wrong. I'd say, okay, Aguero's at home and Kane's away, I'll go with the home team. I just couldn't get it from week to week. I was playing the fixtures. I was saying, it's just disaster. But
you've absolutely nailed it this year, though.
Yeah. I was looking at it the other day. You're only 20 points behind the guy in second.
Yeah, and it's annoying. Last week, if I had have captained Salah like I was planning on, instead of Aguero, I'd probably be up in third and probably about 20 odd points away from first. But sure, look, what can you do?
Yeah, I was actually very surprised that only one of the top 10 last game week captain Salah.
Yeah. And like I said earlier, if I'm torn between 2 options, I'll go with the home player.
I mean, I'm just looking at the league, at the overall leader now. He's made a transfer.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing it's probably going to be Arnautovic out.
Yeah, he has a lot of injuries.
But he's got Christensen, who's 50-50. He's got Chilwell, who we don't know if he's been dropped. He's got even then, so he's got rid of, he's still sitting on Son and Arnautovic.
Yeah. There's a good few players that's at the creeping up in the last 2 weeks who, still have all their chips remaining.
Yeah.
And that's a big, never mind first place. It's those guys that are really starting to kick on now. Some of them have decent histories as well. So it's definitely the cream rising to the top now.
Well, not this guy in second.
You plan to celebrate if you win it.
Yeah, although the guy in second has no wild card, but he has all of the chips.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Yeah, so there's still a lot of game weeks to go. Like I said at the start of the season, I still don't see it. Lasting. I mean, there will be a dip, but depends on how safe I want to keep playing.
Yeah.
if I go off the rails.
The gets, and the more you're still in, the more you may end up having to.
Yeah, because it's going to be so tempting. Like if you're 15, 20 points off the top, like you just feel the need to go kind of a bit maverick and say, I'm going to try and make up that gap by kind of going a bit off the, inside the box.
Triple captain, but he's basically in the same position as you. He's got everything left except his triple captain.
Mm.
So again, a lot of it could be how these guys, if they're not the experienced players, and how they react in 31, for example, could be a big thing.
Yeah.
If any of them that have got the free hit or the wild card suddenly find themselves free hitting because they can't get the team out.
Exactly. Like I said, that's my plan. Like, I mean, 31, get about 8 or 9 players out. I'm definitely not worried about getting a full 11.
I don't see the logic.
No, I don't see the point. I mean, for the sake of probably 2 points, the players that you get in, and you're going to be losing value replacing, other players like, Sterling that you've had for a long time, things like Kane, whoever.
And you don't want to waste a free hit on West Brom and Stoke and Bournemouth and those sorts of guys.
Yeah.
So we will be interested to see how many of the top 10 and whatnot do kind of blow the hit the panic button in a couple of weeks' time.
I think there's going to be a lot. I think there's going to be a lot of players that either don't realise that there's going to be double game weeks coming up and blanks coming up. I just think those the players that don't kind of look that far ahead. Like I never look that far ahead myself, but it's good to keep it in mind so that you can say, I have a kind of a loose plan in place to play wild card here.
Like if I look at the leader right now, on the basis of probability of likely outcomes, he's got Karius, Firmino, and Salah, and Karna for 31, and that'll be it.
Yeah. And I was kind of set on the idea of bringing in Karius as Liverpool defence if we do go down that route, which is why I'm thinking Van Dijk, because I just get the feeling that even though Klopp has said Karius is first choice at the minute, I just get this feeling like one more blunder. We've seen it before.
You've been there with Mignolet.
Exactly. I just get that feeling that one more blunder and he could change again. I mean, this is probably the third time that he swapped keepers. I don't know if it's this season or
more like the 30th.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Are we done?
I think we're done.
All right. Good luck for the game week, lads.
Happy days. Best of luck, guys.
See you later.
Excellent. Take it easy, guys. Thanks.